All right, everyone, let's just take a moment to breathe this one in because what a time it is to be a Celtic supporter. Yesterday wasn't just another day. It was a special one, a proper emotional roller coaster, a kind of day that makes you stop everything, get on your phone, scroll through the club's social feeds, and just smile from ear to ear. Because the prodigal son is back. Kieran Tierney, KT number 63, the boy from the academy, the die-hard Celtic fan turned star, is home again. Honestly, there's something magical about moments like this in football. We talk about romance in the game. We say it's dying with money and contracts and agents running everything. But then something like this happens and reminds you why you fell in love with the sport in the first place. Kieran Tierney returning to Celtic is not just a transfer. It's not some rumor that ended up true. It's a full circle moment. The kind of thing you dream about as a fan and probably even more as a player. You grow up supporting the club, you break through the ranks, you play your heart out. You move on to chase success, and then years later you walk through those familiar doors again. It hits different. It means something on a level that stats and trophies can't touch. And for the supporters, it's like seeing a long-lost friend coming back after being away for far too long. Now, let's not pretend we didn't see the signs. Brendan Rodgers basically let the cat out the bag back in January, and there were weak clues dropped here and there. Celtic's financial reports quietly mentioned something about it. Then there was that season ticket campaign that gave us a sneak peek. But nothing's real until you see the club post those pictures, the jersey, the smile, the familiar face standing under the Celtic crest again. And yesterday we got that. The official return. The moment we'd all been waiting for. The first time. Tierney's been pictured in the hoops since May of 2019. That final league match where we battered Aberdeen 3-0 and clinched our 8th league title in a row under Neil Lennon. That day already felt like history, and now it's been almost exactly 5 years. Seeing those photos yesterday, I won't lie to you, it hit me hard. I knew it would feel good to see him back, but I wasn't ready for just how powerful it would be. That moment he stood there holding the shirt, smiling, arms outstretched. Yeah, I felt that. And credit to Celtic's media team, they smashed it. The video package, the soundtrack, the storytelling, it was all spot on. They released one that leaned into his time in London like a bit of a farewell, which was solid. But then the real knockout punch came with the highlights reel. Tierney's best moments in a Celtic shirt, the crunching tackles, the overlapping runs, the roars at Parkhead, and that caption, he pressed play, we hit repeat. Come on, man. That's just class. They even had a hashtag for it because of course they did. Back to paradise with the capital K and T standing out. Celtic knew this wasn't just a signing. This was a homecoming. They'd been planning it for a while, and when it finally dropped, you could tell. The execution was perfect, and you better believe the fans responded. Tierney couldn't take a step without someone asking for a selfie or a signature. That bond never broke, not even when he left, because deep down we always knew he'd be back someday. Now let's talk about that number, 63. That's his number. Always has been. It's the one he wore when he first broke into the side as a teenager, and it's the one he's putting on again now. It's rare for a number, like that one that's not traditionally iconic, to become so instantly recognizable. But for Celtic fans, 63 means Tierney. Simple as that. And the fact that he's taken it up again for his second spell, that just reinforces the message. He's not trying to rewrite history. He's continuing it. In the Celtic TV interview, which you can catch parts of without a subscription, he sat down with Jerry McCulloch for about 5 minutes or so. It was short, but it hit all the right notes. You could see it in his eyes. This wasn't just another club presentation. This was personal. There was a genuine happiness there, and also a sense of growth. Tierney isn't the boy who left anymore. He's a man now. He's lived through the grind of English football, had battles with injuries, went to Spain, saw a new style of football, a new culture. He's had highs, lows, everything in between. And now he's back, not just as a player, but as a leader. One thing that stood out to me in the interview was how he talked about the unveiling. The first time around as a kid coming through the academy, there was no big moment, no photo shoots, no big social media launch. He just got tossed into the first team and proved himself. But this time it's different. This time the lights are on him, and deservedly so. It's funny though, because it made me think, how many players actually come back to Celtic after leaving in their prime? Not many. Jota's a recent one, sure. Fraser Forster had a few returns. Charlie Mulgrew, depending on how you view his two. Spells, but it's rare, especially for players we sold for big money. Think about it. Tierney was one of our most valuable sales ever, and now he's back along with others we've made money on. That says a lot about the pull Celtics still has. This club gets under your skin, and no matter where you go in the world, it's hard to shake off that green and white. He said something that stuck with me. He feels like he's grown, not just as a player, but as a person. When you move away from home experience, different cultures handle pressure. In new environments, you change. That's life. And in football, those experiences matter. He talked about how he'll still give 100% effort because that's who he is. But there's more to him now. More understanding, more awareness. He's not just bombing down the wing anymore. He's thinking, reading, leading. And that's something we'll benefit from massively. Tierney was always known for putting in the hard yards, but now he brings back something else. Maturity, leadership. He's coming back into a Celtic side where he's one of the oldest players. Let that sink in. He's 28. Older than Cameron Carter-Vickers, older than Dazen Maida. Only McGregor, Forrest, and Schmeichel have more experience in terms of age. That's mental, right? We all still see him as the lad who burst into the side with raw energy. But now he's the experienced head. And that's exactly what this squad needs. Someone who's seen it all, who knows what this club means, who can guide the younger players, and who still has the quality to perform at the highest level. Because let's not forget, Tierney didn't come back washed up. He's still got plenty to offer. And even if injuries have slowed him at times, he's clearly still sharp. Look at the end of last season. He was involved, he was pushing, and now he's here ready to do it all again. There was another wee detail that I found fascinating. He hasn't been back inside Celtic Park since he left. Not once. That to me says a lot. It's not that he didn't care. Maybe it was just too much. Maybe walking into that stadium as anything other than a Celtic player felt wrong. Maybe the noise around his departure made it uncomfortable. Some fans criticized him at the time, which was madness, by the way. The guy gave everything, blood, sweat, and tears. And when Arsenal came, calling with a massive bid and a Premier League opportunity, how do you say no? He didn't leave out of disloyalty. He left to grow, to test himself. And now he's back better for it. He also mentioned his time in Spain with Real Sociedad. It was tough with injuries and adaptation, but he learned a lot. Different styles, different expectations, new challenges. It all adds layers. You don't come back from that experience the same. You come back sharper, more versatile. And that's what we're getting now. A more complete version of Tierney. So all in all, this is a big deal. This isn't just a return for sentimentality. It's not a PR move. This is a footballing decision with heart and sense behind it. He brings quality leadership and a deep connection to the badge. What more could you ask for? And in the middle of all that KT buzz, Celtics been quietly putting together our preseason plans. We're getting ready. The pieces are falling into place. The excitement's building. And with Tierney back in the mix, it's only going to get louder from here. And right in the middle of all this Tierney celebration, there's something else starting to stir. Something that always seems to divide opinion among supporters, but let's face it, it's part of modern football now. The transfer window. A few names have started floating around again, some familiar, some maybe a bit surprising, and it looks like things are starting to heat up at Celtic Park. One of the most talked about in recent days is Michelange Balikwisha. Now, if that name rings a bell, it should, because we were heavily linked with him last summer, but the deal never materialized after he picked up a nasty injury. Now, reports from Belgium suggest we're backing for him. According to some pretty reliable sources over there, the club's reopened talks with his camp looking into personal terms, and there seems to be some movement. Balikwisha is a talented winger just turned 24, currently playing for Royal Antwerp. He's featured for Belgium at every youth level, right up to the under-21s, which shows he's been rated highly for a long time. No senior caps yet, but let's be honest, breaking into the Belgian national team isn't exactly easy, especially with the kind of players they've got out wide. Last season, though, wasn't kind to him. He started well featured in the opening match, but then suffered a torn thigh muscle. That injury kept him out for a long stretch. He returned briefly in December, played one game, and then got hurt again. Another short comeback in February, then more time on the sidelines. Just a really frustrating campaign for him. But towards the end of the season, when the Belgian league enters its playoff phase, he finally got a proper run of games. And to his credit, he looked sharp involved and importantly healthy. That's the part where you stop and think, Are we taking a risk here, or are we seizing a good opportunity? Because if you just look at the injury record, yeah, it's a concern. We're talking about multiple muscle injuries over the past 2 or 3 seasons, and that's never a great sign for a winger who relies on pace and explosiveness. But then again, the club's medical staff will surely be all over this. They'll have assessed everything, seen scans tracking his recovery. If they're pushing for this move, you'd have to trust there's a solid reason. Maybe they feel the worst is behind him. Maybe they see real value in the fact he's entering the final year of his contract. We were talking about £5 million last summer. Now it might be closer to 3. From a footballing perspective, though, he looks like a player who fits what we need. I remember watching clips of him months ago, and there was something there, pace direct, running a bit of flair. He reminded me of a blend between Dyson Maeda and Jota. He's got Maeda's burst, that fearless attitude to drive at defenders, but also the kind of close control and creativity that we associated with Jota. That's a rare combo, and if you can get a player like that on a decent fee, it starts to make sense why we'd roll the dice a bit, and he's not the only name being whispered about. Another one making the rounds again is Sondre Søres, the Norwegian winger playing for Sarpsborg. Apparently, we've reopened talks with his club as well. There's no official offer yet, but things are moving. The interesting bit is that we're facing competition from clubs in Germany and the Netherlands, which usually means the player's got something about him. If those leagues are sniffing around, it's not just smoke. The thing is, when these transfer rumors start piling up, people begin to get frustrated, understandably. We've had windows before where names flew around every week and nothing came of it. But this time it does feel like there's a bit more substance. The club knows we need reinforcements, especially with some key players out for the start of the season. And with KT coming in, you sense that momentum starting to build. These aren't scattergun links. These are players we've looked at before who fit the mold, who seem to be part of a bigger plan. It's always tricky though, spending money on players with an injury past. It's not like we're Man City. We can't afford to miss. Every signing matters. Every penny counts. And when you're putting down 3, 4, 5 million, you want to be confident the player's going to contribute right away. But at the same time, that's often where value lies. Guys who've had setbacks but still carry quality. If you back your medical team, your coaching staff, and your player support, sometimes you get a real gem. And hey, this is Celtic. There's always risk. There's always noise. But if we want to keep growing, keep competing in Europe, we need to be bold. Maybe Balikwisha's worth that shot. Maybe Soros gives us another spark out wide. All I know is the wheels are turning and it feels like something's brewing. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Whispers from Glasgow's East End are growing louder, suggesting a truly audacious move could be afoot at Celtic Park. The rumor mill is in overdrive with talk that the boys are closing in on a sensational deal to bring none other than James Rodriguez, the Colombian maestro, to paradise. Aye, you heard that right. James Rodriguez, the former Real Madrid and Bayern Munich man, supposedly donning the hoops and pulling on the coveted number 10 jersey. It's the kind of speculation that usually gets laughed out of town, but the chatter this time feels different. A bit more insistent, like a murmur building to a roar. Sources close to the club, albeit unconfirmed and keeping their cards close to their chest, are hinting at a surprising agreement that would see the playmaker lighting up the Scottish Premiership. Imagine the guile, the vision, the sheer quality that such a talent would bring to Brendan Rodgers' side. It's enough to get the faithful dreaming of European nights under the lights, with James dictating play in the middle of the park. Of course, there are always two sides to a coin, and the cynics amongst us will point to Rodriguez's recent nomadic career and fitness woes. He's had a few twists and turns since his glory days, most recently plying his trade in Mexico with Club Leon. But if the boys could get him fit and firing, even a fraction of his former self would be a game changer. Up here, this isn't just about a new signing. It's about a statement, a real marker laid down by Celtic to their rivals. Whether this is simply a flight of fancy or a genuine possibility remains to be seen. Football's a funny old game, and stranger things have happened. But the thought of James Rodriguez, a player with such a storied past and a wand of a left foot gracing the hallowed turf of Celtic Park, It's enough to send shivers down the spine of any fan, and it's certainly got the terraces buzzing with excited speculation. Watch this space, because if this rumor has even a whiff of truth to it, it could be the biggest transfer saga of the summer. Hello, fan! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.